is this place? And who are you? I'm Captain Becker of the USS Enterprise, here to help you with Sci Fi September. I'm Valkyrie, here to help you with the Magical Readathon and also Demonathon. Oh, you're all my variants. Okay then. And you? I'm you in about 5 minutes. Thanos is coming and it's time for TBR Assemble. Hey everyone, and welcome to September's TBR Assemble. And if you couldn't guess, there's a hell of a lot of readathons to get through, so let's just get right into the rules. And if you need a quick refresher of the rules, I'll leave a link up above to the original video. So today we are starting with a Spider-Man. And then we're going to be swapping him out with every single role because it's still What If season, so why not? And I do not have a Shang-Chi thing yet, so we're just making do. So here we go. Role number 1 is a 1. So we're going to go to that way, and I'm not going to go for that one because it's sticking out. I'm going to dig a little. So, oh no, that's a snap. That's a snap. A book I've been putting off. Okay. My first prompt was a snap, because of course it was, and that was to read a book I'm putting off. So I'm going to be reading Lucifer by Carey. Now this one is where the Lucifer TV show is based off, so this is exactly how he got Lux and all of this kind of thing. I'm also going to be using it for the Demonathon prompt, which is to read a book using ancient knowledge. Now obviously he is Lucifer, so he's got ancient knowledge and all the rest of it. That's my kind of how I am justifying it for Demonathon, but essentially I also have been putting it off for a very long time because it's a very chunky comic. But I think considering the final ever season of Lucifer is airing this month, there is no better time to read it than now. Swapping out Spider-Man for Captain Marvel. Role number 2 is a 3, so digging again, because I'm feeling like digging with this one. So it's that one, and that is Tony, a dystopian for 1 point. My second prompt was Tony, which is to read a dystopian, and I'm going to make things easier on myself here and read Low, which is a graphic novel where basically the world has been destroyed. We cannot live on the surface anymore, so now we all live underwater, and it's going to be counting for several prompts here. The first one is water, because obviously we live underwater now. Also short story, because for a graphic novel I count it as short stories because it takes me about as long as it would take me to read a short story as it does to read a graphic novel. And I am also using it for future tech, because if we were living underwater we clearly have some sort of futuristic tech here. But either way, I'm still very, very excited to read this one. I have heard nothing but good things. I've heard the artwork and everything is stunning, and I just generally cannot wait to read this. We're swapping out Captain Marvel for Doctor Strange. Role number 3 is a 2, so that is Storm, a N.K. Jemisin book for 2 points. I could not have pulled that Storm prompt at a better time, because obviously I'm going to be reading the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, which is the start of the Broken Earth. Read along, I'll leave a link to it down below. And I wanted to join in because I am very, very interested in the series. I have heard a lot of good things, and I did want to give N.K. Jemisin a second chance. So cannot wait to read this. I've heard nothing but good things. This is sort of like a sci-fi fantasy mix, which is why it's also counting for that prompt. For Sci Fi September, it's also counting for popular, non-space, and then also it's counting for the novice path entrance for the Magical Readathon. And this one is all about the fact that this world has a 5th season and it sort of destroys everything. That's all I really know. It just says it starts with a great red rift, it starts with death, it starts with betrayal, and I've heard nothing but good things about the series, so I really wanted to get on it, and considering there was a read along, I decided to jump on it. Swapping Doctor Strange out for Black Panther. Rolling 4. Funny enough, I rolled a 4. That is Soul fanfiction. 5th roll is a 3, so there you go. I'm going to pick that one. No, I'm not actually. I am going to dig through this one as well. Grab that one. that is Iceman, an LGBTQI plus main character or author, for 2 points. Fanfic I don't need to go into, so moving straight forward into Iceman, which is to read an LGBTQIA plus book. So I'm going to be going for A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers, and this one is focusing on Lovelace and her story, who is in the first one. I can't say exactly what happened to her because that would have been massive spoilers, but I'm very excited to read this one. I loved reading The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so I cannot wait to continue on with this series. This one is counting for the queer prompt, the alien prompt, non-human main character, then ash-torn tree and beautiful cover for Demonathon, Readathon and everything else, essentially, because I do think this cover is very, very beautiful, and I'm just very excited to read this one. And my final roll went off, but that is a 3, so I'm gonna pick this one. That is Miles Morales, a library book, for 3 points. My next prompt was Miles, which is to read a library book, and for this I'm going for Catching Teller Crow, which is the next book in the Avengers Reading Challenge, and this is going to be counting for the Iltrian. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that is where my character is going to be from for the Magical Readathon, because I'm going for the edgiest character going, because I'm me. And essentially this one is some sort of ghostly murder mystery. I know basically nothing else about it, but I'm very excited to read it. And it is also counting for that one prompt that I just mentioned, which is to read a book with a crow in the title. I cannot believe how well this lined up. This lined up perfectly, and I am so excited for that, because otherwise I had no book with crow in the title, so I would have been very stuck. So glad that that worked out. So glad that that worked out. And then obviously that is not the end of my TBR, because I want to complete everything I possibly can. And even though I've got literally 10 days of reading time this month, that isn't including comic reading time because I set that aside on Wednesdays for what if days, I have 10 days of reading time. And yet I'm still going to pile in more books. The first one is Skullduggery Pleasant Last Stand of Dead Men. This is book 8 in the series, so I can't tell you exactly what this one's about, but it is essentially the 8th book in the series, and the characters are going off with the dead men, who are a team Skullduggery used to run with, and they are running around the world or something, trying to stop magic from doing something. I can't remember. There's a war between the sanctuaries. Yeah, that's right. That's all I remember, because I read the back. I can't remember anything about this book. I've read it once, which makes it very exciting, because I remember nothing about it, because we're into the bits where I remember bugger all or just haven't read yet. So we're into very exciting territory now. But this one is also counting for Obsidian Falls and then Broken Relationship, because the sanctuaries are now at war with each other, so that is a broken relationship. Cannot wait. And then the final book I've got to mention before I go into the mass load of comics is going to be The Raven Boys. Now, I have never really cared about the series, but when I realised that I needed an audiobook for this month, and B, I needed a Dark Academia, and C, I couldn't get hold of Ninth House as an audiobook literally anywhere, I decided to go for The Raven Boys, because it was the only one that I could actually get hold of. Every other book that I wanted to read that was considered Dark Academia, couldn't get hold of. So I went with The Raven Boys. I know this one is really, really popular, and I do kind of want to see what all the hype is about. I'm a little bit nervous because I think there is a bit of a love story thing going on, considering the main character has some sort of thing where if they fall in love, their true love dies or something like this. I don't know, but a little bit worried about that, but still quite excited. So yeah, that is going to be my audiobook of the month, because it's on the library and it's also on Spotify, and I kind of want to give Spotify audiobooks a go. And then as for the comics, the first things I've got to mention is obviously the What If comics, because What If is still continuing to come out and just rock my world, essentially. So these are going to count for 5-star prediction for the Demonathon and also the Magical Readathon, and then it's also counting for Mist of Solitude. Also for the Magical Readathon, I know you can't double up, which is why I'm going to be separating that into 2 separate What If comics. So I'll be reading at least 2, and I'll count the 5-star prediction for one, Mr. Solitude for the other. Don't know which one I'm going to go for yet, but I'll see how I feel, I'll see which one calls to me and all the rest of it. But What If comics will be read this month. I just don't know which one. And then on to the Shang-Chi stuff, because obviously Shang-Chi is also coming out, so I'm going to be reading as many Shang-Chi comics as I can get my hands on. The first one is Shang-Chi Brothers and Sisters. This one is his latest comic. I think you can possibly just jump straight into this one and hopefully be fine, I think. But this one's about secret societies and like a balance of power and stuff like this, and also the artwork is really, really pretty, and I'm very excited to read it because I've never read anything with Shang-Chi in before apart from one Wolverine comic, so very excited to see him on his own, see what happens. And then also I've got these Shang-Chi comics as well. I will not be going through each and every one of them because one, I'm going to be doing a dedicated reading vlog, so I'll just go through it all then, and two, I can't remember what all of them are about right now, but I'll be reading these ones as well. Then the only other two confirmed things I will definitely be reading is Lady Mechanica, because this counts for steampunk, short story, and also set in a town/city. This one is all about a woman who is part mechanical, essentially. I've heard, again, really good things about this one, so I cannot wait to read it. But this one's all about a woman who is part mechanical, and that's basically all I know, apart from the fact it's set in England. I can't remember anything about it. I've got so many, like, synopsises in my head right now, I can't remember that one. But either way, very excited to read it. And then for the prompt of Iridium Academy arc, I'm going to be reading New Mutants Volume 4, because this one is basically set in a school. And I wanted to continue on my New Mutant series, so this one works. I did want to possibly read like a Edge Chronicles book to complete that series, but quite frankly, I don't have time, so I just sort of shove in a comic to get that in as well. So, New Mutants Volume 4. And then finally, I've got a couple of other Marvel comics, but I'm just going to say a couple of other Marvel comics because I don't know what's coming in terms of What If, because they haven't said, so I don't know. So I'm just chucking things tentatively on the list and saying these are the kind of things I'll be reading. So first one is Marvel Zombies, because that is coming, I just don't know when. I've also got the Winter Soldier Complete Collection, as well as Black Widow, Widowmaker, Doctor Strange, Surgeon Supreme, things like this. It'll just depend on what comes out and what I fancy reading, so we'll see how things go. And that is actually everything I'm going to be reading. Now obviously that looks like a really nice stack, but when you count in everything else in terms of books, it comes out at 174 pages a day in 10 days spread out. Yeah, this one's going to be a difficult one, but I'm going to give it a damn good try, and I mean, I should be fine. I should be. I'm hoping I'm okay, quite frankly, but we'll see what happens. But wish me luck, essentially. Just wish me a hell of a lot of luck. But that is the end of my September TBR. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me some of the books you're going to be reading this month. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a devil emoji to let me know that you were here and represent Demonathon. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the comic book sanctum, which is going to have all of the Shang-Chi and all of the What If stuff coming out over the next couple of weeks. So if you are interested in any of the comics I've just mentioned, or comics in general, do go check that out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!